when he's parting the Red Sea, and all these things. The staff is always there, but it literally is just a piece of wood.
And it's what he had in his hand at the time.
Welcome to the Nest of Tranquility. I am Gavin Daniels.
I am Shannon Marie Berry, and this is You Know Me. Gavin, what are we talking about today?
Today we are going to talk about why it is that we are here and what it is that we do.
Wowzers, that is a lot of stuff. So, why are we here?
We are here today, number one, to podcast, but to introduce whoever you may be, the listener, the viewer, combination of the two, to introduce people to the work that we get to do through the funds of the Lilly Endowment. We operate Lilly Endowment grants that are housed here at the University of Mount Olive, and we are here to share that, to share the work we get to do, and to talk about fun things and hang out with fun people.
With fun people, because we will have guests that we'll be bringing in along the way, those who are partners in our work, those who are expertise in different fields of the work that we do. But you'll also get an awful lot of very real you and me. And the idea, we named this podcast You Know Me. Where did that come from?
So we have multiple Lilly Endowment grant projects here. And because of that, and we operate so well together, we put them all under one umbrella and came up with the name, the Unified Pathway Projects. And so then we called that the UPP, to which people said,
Yeah, you know me.
And so we were like, we should just call this the You Know Me podcast.
Absolutely.
So one, a spin off of that, but also for deep theological reasons, because whether we like it or not, God knows each and every one of us.
Absolutely.
Sees and knows us, and also you get a chance to know us.
And something that our listeners don't know yet, but they're finding out, we're both pastors.
Yeah.
We're both clergy people, and I am in the United Methodist Church. I'm what they call an ordained elder in full connection, which means the pastor, that's the word we give pastors, that order the life of the church. In the United Methodist system, we also have deacons. Deacons are their work bridges the church and the world, and that's kind of their focus. And the difference between the two is really that order piece, which is also administration and designing worship. I mean, all kinds of things that order falls under. So that's what I do. But I am in extension ministry for the United Methodist Church here to the University of Mount Olive, operating the Written with Love Project, which is the Christian parenting and caregiving initiative from Lilly. And you are what? You're a pastor of what?
So I am ordained clergy through the Central Conference of the Original Free Will Baptist Convention of North Carolina. I've been ordained almost 5 years now. Yeah, May of 2021. Almost 5 years now, but I grew up in the Original Free Will Baptist tradition. Got licensed while I was in seminary, ordained post-seminary. And so through that, the University of Mount Olive is an Original Free Will Baptist institution, one of the ministries that we have sponsored and founded over the years of our existence.
Formerly known as Mount Olive Junior College. So if there's anybody out there that has ever heard of Mount Olive College,
Yeah.
that's the same thing as a university now.
I think it was 2014 when we made the
University.
shift to university. But I operate the Sprouting Roots Project, which is birthed out of the Thriving Congregations initiative that the Lilly Endowment has gifted us. And so, working alongside churches and congregations in the area and focusing on the health of churches and being able to do that work. I currently do not pastor a church. My full
I do.
time my full time ministry is here at the university and to my family, and so being able to do that and really focus on the students that we have here on campus, but also to be able to help churches here in the region of Eastern North Carolina, and then get to do. We didn't say that we are certified Christian leadership coaches.
We are.
So if you need coaching in life, call us up.
We can do that for you.
So I do a little bit of life coaching on the side as well, and yeah.
And I do have a congregation. It would be unfair of me to ignore Monk Memorial United Methodist Church in Farmville, North Carolina. It is my quarter-time appointment, and I still, after almost 3 years, I'm wondering what exactly it means to be in quarter-time ministry, but we're working on it. We get there day by day. But we keep saying the word Mount Olive, and you and I know what
Oh, we
Mount
should have
Olive
mustard
is.
pickles.
We should have mustard pickles. We'll get they don't know what that means yet, but they're going to find out. So, what is Mount Olive? Where is Mount Olive? How would you tell that to somebody that we met in an airport?
We are not located in the Middle East, like where Jesus.
The Mount of Olives.
Yes, we are not that same place. We are Mount Olive, North Carolina, located in Wayne County.
Southern Wayne County
Yeah.
at that.
Southern Wayne. But we're just outside of Goldsboro, home of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. And, the light just, sorry. Yeah, somebody's here.
Okay, that's nice.
Sorry. But we are located in southern Wayne County in eastern North Carolina in the town of Mount Olive. If you are a fan of pickles.
Pickles!
You probably have seen Mount Olive pickles in the grocery store all over this country. I'm pretty sure Mount Olive
the
pickles
green and yellow label
are the biggest pickle
manufacturer, I guess.
Yeah, in the country.
Yeah.
And so we're literally right across the road or the highway from
the pickle plant,
the pickle factory in the town of Mount Olive, North Carolina.
And on certain days in the summer when they open the vats,
you can smell.
You can detect which vat they open. Be it dill or gherkin or sweet and soury bread butter or something.
Or the other
and I love pickles.
Bajillion flavors.
I don't know that I've met a pickle flavor that I don't enjoy yet.
Dill pickle, that's all I care for.
That's all you'll eat?
Yeah. Well, not all I'll eat. I don't like bread and butter.
I love bread and butter
I don't
pickles.
know what the point is. They don't satisfy a hamburger well, or they don't complement a hamburger well.
Yeah, for you.
Nope.
I gotcha. Okay, so that's where we are, and that's where the university is. And the university is actually they are a, what do they call that? What is our conference? We're Division II.
Yeah, we're in the Division
We're
II
Division II
NCAA
school.
NCAA Division II Conference Carolinas.
Yeah, with a plethora of sports. With our newest one being women's flag football. Exciting stuff going on in the land of sports here.
Great baseball program over the years. Good men's and women's basketball.
Yeah, wrestlers, lacrosse, track and field. Our track and field kids are doing really good this semester. They've been doing great. And they're great people too. So
Shout
it's
out
lots of
women's
fun.
lacrosse won the conference last year.
Holy Hannah, that was amazing, wasn't it? Yeah. So much fun to watch. So we got a lot of great, but we also have a lot of great academics that go on.
Yes, business school.
Our business school is fantastic. Psychology department, Christian studies. Shout out to us.
Ag school.
But our ag school, let's give a shout out, because for those who are in the state of North Carolina, when they say ag school, they often think of NC State. So let's give some props to the University of Mount Olive's ag school, friends.
Yep.
They actually have one of
we're the largest.
We're the largest ag
state.
school, and we've got new developments coming. Always our farm is fantastic. All of those students are so good.
They sell great produce.
They sell great produce to anybody who wants it. They have different times throughout the year. So
Locally sourced, you know what you're getting.
Nursing. I'm trying to think. Aviation. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we've got aviation program. We got all kinds of programs we'll talk about as we go. But that's where we are. And let's talk a little bit about how you and I came to be in this space.
Yeah.
And how we became friends. All right, Gavin, we have made it to our segment called The Word of the Day. Do you want to share a little bit with everybody about where the Word of the Day comes from?
This is once again a shout out to Katelyn Gregory,
Yeah.
which I think this segment will technically come at the beginning and mustard is at the end. So this will be the first shout out.
The first
to Katelyn,
shout out
actually.
to Katelyn. Whoop, whoop.
Or excuse me, Caitlin Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin was our intern and turned now colleague here at the University of Mount Olive.
So excited.
And now friend.
Absolutely.
And in the midst of this, when Caitlin served as our intern, she liked words of the day.
Yeah, and it kind of came up because she found that I have a tendency to use words that are not common in everyday lexicon.
Correct. As
Just
a
like
professor of
lexicon.
mine, as a professor of mine in undergrad would say, that's a word you haven't heard since breakfast.
Shout out, man.
Yeah, or that's a 50-cent word.
Yeah, or I call them SAT words. But I enjoy language a whole lot with storytelling in my background. But our word of the day today is the word melancholy. MELANCHOLY. And given that some of the stuff that I work with ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences, and resiliency and those kinds of things, emotions are really important. And being able to describe your emotions are really important, which is why we have some great emotion pillows behind us that we can always look at and see how exactly are we feeling. Because sad is not exactly where you are. There's more to it than just sad or happy. Or
Sadness is upon me, as the Irish would say.
Ooh, go Irish. Oh, but not the fighting ones because they're not my favorite. So our word today is melancholy. And the idea of melancholy is kind of like what it looks like outside our window when we came in for this drive. Did you see the sun today?
No.
What'd the sky look like?
I saw this really cool cloud formation that was real swirly.
Swirly clouds. Yeah. Okay, so swirly clouds, gray. If you kind of feel gray and you kind of feel gloomy, melancholy is a good word for you.
Yeah.
So there's our word of the day.
With the winter weather coming this week, which you'll hear this way beyond the time of this. But
so if anybody's really likes to know when this was recorded, it was recorded when Snowmageddon was headed this way. So we'll see where that pans out. I'm hoping it's not so Snowmageddon as they were. It's not so Mageddon-y. Yeah.
Who goes first?
I will ask you the question.
Okay.
So, Gavin, what did you think of me the first time you met me?
I thought she hated me. Very standoffish. Kind of rude.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I know what I was dealing with that day.
But that was a day in which we were doing a movie training over adverse childhood experiences, also known as ACEs. You'll hear more about that as we continue in the work. And that is a very deep and heavy subject for Shannon Marie. Yeah. And then over like the next year, we slowly started being around one another in other events and trainings. And number one, became friends, and then quickly realized, oh, we might be cousins.
We could be cousins. That's right. So I was icy.
Yeah, icy. That's a good word.
But I began to thaw.
Not spicy, but icy.
Well, I'm spicy now, but I went from icy to spicy.
There you go. Ice spice. Shout out.
Well, and so with that said, part of the work that I do here, my work focuses on several things. One is teaching families, and not mom, I mean, your nuclear family, yes, but also other people within families, or maybe your family doesn't look traditional or whatever that is. But I teach about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. I teach resiliency techniques. Part of that is because my body holds post-traumatic stress disorder. And that comes after a traumatic childhood event that occurred. We'll spend time talking about that one day. And when I went to go tell what had happened to me, I was not believed or understood. I did not have the vocabulary to explain what had occurred. And so there I was, getting ready to turn 9. And I went until I was 16 years old before my parents knew what had occurred and reported that out to my parents. I had a boyfriend at the time that watched how PTSD affected me. That frozen, rocking motion kind of thing where everything is walled off and you cannot communicate with me. He encouraged me to tell my parents. Called my parents, learned more about the family history than I would have ever cared to. But I never landed in a counselor's office to discuss that event, even though I'd been to counseling, did not discuss that event until I was 30.
Mm.
And so for the better part of my life, my body had always been in fight or flight mode. And because of that, I told the class we met the other day, I'm a polar bear. My body looks like I'm a polar bear. Well, and that is because of the cortisol levels in my body, the inability for my body to feel safe. Safety is a huge thing for me. I do not, jump scares will send me into orbit. And if I punch, that's your fault. That's how I feel about it. And so there's a lot about that for me and the need for safety and all that kind of stuff. So that is big deal. That's why I was so excited to hear that that was part of the work that I was being called upon to do when we were hired for this. The other piece that I got to add to it is storytelling. So I am from the large city metropolis of Gray, Tennessee. Not that anyone knows where that is, really.
Nope.
It's in the Tri-Cities of Tennessee. The Tri-Cities are Johnson City, Kingsport, and Bristol. Upper East Tennessee in the top little corner. We do teach our children how to sing Rocky Top when they're in kindergarten. And with that is next to my town is Jonesboro, Tennessee. As a matter of fact,
Got some friends from there.
From Jonesboro?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Of course you do, because you know everybody. Do you know me? Yes, everyone knows Gavin. But I grew up, so Gray, Tennessee's high school was Daniel Boone High School. Jonesboro's high school, David Crockett. So lots of fun. But it's also where the International Storytelling Festival is held every single year in October. So storytelling is huge. And I also realized that because my story was not able, or my story was not heard, it was not received, I was not protected, whatever those things that come along with that were, I wanted to give families, no matter what they look like, the opportunity to learn how to tell stories around a table and be listened to. So the way we do that when we work together, and you've got to see that happen a couple of times now, is that I come in with a storytelling prompt. So one of my favorites is tell me your favorite squirrel story. You all have one, whether you think of it right away or not. The one I used the other night, a little morbid, but it was so much fun, and it was great to watch those stories around the table, is tell me your favorite funeral story, which is just fantastic, because who thinks about a favorite funeral story? But asking stories like that, or tell me, just something easy, your favorite Christmas experience, whatever that is, vacation experience. Everybody gets 3 to 5 minutes to sit around the table. They get to share their story. And how do people respond? What's the rules? What are the rules, Gavin?
If you are not sharing your story,
Mm-hmm.
you listen,
Mm-hmm.
you can nod your head,
Mm-hmm.
and you respond only at the end by saying thank you. And then it goes to the next person.
Immediately. No
Don't-
follow-up.
No questions asked, no
Yeah.
follow-up. Your follow-up is your story.
Absolutely. And so that's how we tell stories. And part of that work is so that children and parents or parental figures can learn how to debrief things or talk about things that are easy, things that are fun. And that one day that our middle schooler or high schooler comes into our lives and needs to tell us their hard story, and God forbid it be an elementary kid, but that day that has to happen, they already know that parental figure has been taught how to receive that well. Because so often, and I am so guilty, my children will tell you, I'm so guilty. The kids would come home and they would talk about the bad day they had at school, and there was a bully on the playground or something happened. And immediately we as parents pop into that. Did you tell the teacher? Did the principal get involved? Did the counselor get involved? And all we do is interrupt. And we don't even listen fully, because having a kid tell you a story in the back of the car, I mean, like, you're road focused and you can be road focused and you're not even hearing that whole thing. But sitting around the table and having that conversation requires you to be able to look at them, to focus on them and give them the floor. So that's why we do that work.
Yeah.
Welcome to our next segment for the day, Gavin's 15. Gavin, tell us a little bit about what this segment is about.
I like rants. Things just get under my skin. Some people may say they grind your gears, or they really just get you going. And so, randomly throughout the day, I will have moments where I just go on a tangent about something that has perturbed me. Did I use that word right?
Perturbed, yeah.
Oh, wow. Look
Upset you a
yeah.
bit?
Yeah,
Just got under your skin,
that's
got in
it.
your
Like,
crawl?
maybe it upset me, or it just may have excited me. And I'm like, wow, this was fantastic. We got to
Mm-hmm.
talk. So in Gavin's 15, I will not take 15 minutes or 15 seconds. It'll be somewhere in between, more
Mm-hmm.
likely a minute. But it'll be my chance to rant. And today's first 15, the very first 15 we're going to talk about, is going to be bathrooms, but mainly public restrooms
Okay.
and their doors.
Tell
I
me a little bit more about
I
why you want to talk about
despise
bathroom doors here.
I despise going into a public restroom
Mm-hmm.
where you have to push to enter
Okay.
and then you have to pull the handle to exit, especially when all they have are air dryers.
Not even paper towels
Not
with
even
a
paper
trash can next
towels.
to the door.
Nope. Or the little footy thing that you can open a door with your foot.
I love a footy thing. City Barbecue has footy things.
Shout out to companies that have the little footy things.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
Airports, no door.
no doors.
They just designed it so
They're
you can
storm
walk
shelters too,
over and around. Wow.
multi-purpose.
Gosh.
But yeah, we were at a restaurant yesterday meeting with some local clergy, and it was a perfect scenario where as I was exiting, I was like, oh, it's a push. I don't even have to use my hands to get out of the bath. I've just cleaned my hands,
Yeah.
and now I don't have to touch this dirty door.
I mean, you can go into it like a linebacker. Just get it with your shoulder.
Or I just like use
Use your foot and push.
my foot and push. And so yeah, it hit me. I was like, that's going to be my first 15 topic, is going to be bathroom doors. So if you are listening to this and you are a designer of facilities or doors,
Yes.
please make your public restrooms push to exit. So that way we can keep our clean hands clean, and I don't have to touch germs because some folks don't know how to wash their hands.
Yay. So, well, Gavin, that's a little bit about me and my grants. What about you and your grant? What kind of stuff do you focus on?
So, running the Thriving Congregations Initiative, the Sprouting Roots Project, as we have named it here at UMO, I get the chance to work with congregations across Eastern North Carolina, and what we've seen is that scope has kind of shifted a little bit further, into Central and some parts of Western North Carolina as well. But the Thriving Congregations grant and the Sprouting Roots Project, the idea is to do that, to work alongside congregations and help figure out what are the best ways to thrive, not just to survive, but to thrive. And so to get the opportunity to come into spaces and help churches essentially ask the three big questions that we focus on are: number one, what is your history? Number two, what is your current reality? And number three, where is God calling you next?
Mm.
And so we focus on these year-long cohort models, and in that we go through and we'll ask these questions. We do things such as SWOTs analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So that gives a chance to see the things you do well, see the things you might not do so well, but then also to focus on the opportunities that are at hand that you may not see. And so that's a way of defining current realities. We talk about church history, not just the history of the church, like, oh, we were founded in 1894 and
I mean,
we,
I'm glad they were.
yeah,
That was
great.
lovely.
That is part of your story, but we don't want to just focus on the facts of what's on paper, but to actually be able to sit down and tell the life of the church.
Mm.
And so in that work, Shannon Marie, you've come alongside and led storytelling prompts, and we have had church members talk about the best day that they've had at their church or the best time that they remember, because that is part of the story of the church in order to understand who you are and where you're going. And so we get the chance to come alongside and do that, but the hope is to help encourage churches in their outreach. And so often we think that outreach within the church simply is just sticking within our four walls.
Mm.
And so through this work, we look at demographic studies. So that'll break down not just racial and age divides
Mhm.
and the numbers that we see, but it'll break down socioeconomics. So, who's living in, above, or at the poverty levels,
Mhm.
education levels of the community within whatever radius we put in.
Mhm.
You'll see how they get their news sources.
Mm.
Are they getting it from social media? Are they getting it from television media? You get a chance to see what denominations people may be a part of. The wildest piece is being able to see what people believe.
Or what they think of you
Yeah,
or the church.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not your specific congregation, but
Mm-mm.
all the churches in the area or the generalized Big C church. And so you get a chance to see what it is that why they believe what they believe, and why they do or do not attend religious worship services.
Yeah.
But the best piece of it also is there's ministry preferences that we get a chance to cover. So that way we can see, like, oh, is this community looking for senior services, or are they looking for family programming? And we're over here, doing ministries that have nothing to do with family
Mm.
programming, but your community is crying for that.
And how many times have we seen in these responses, these churches are so focused on, we need to get families with young children. We need families with young children. We need families with young children. But the setting that they're in doesn't have families with young
Nope.
children. They are a bunch of senior adults that are existing in their area. So you've got to help them understand that you need to begin asking the question, how do we work with older adults, and
Yeah.
even the work that we're beginning to do with Westminster United Methodist Church and that caregiving side of things is, how do you provide focus on end of life care while you may have moms and dads that are raising and trying to launch their own children, but yet their own parents are hitting into life. It may cause you to stop and realize that where you've been is not where you should be going, right?
Yeah. And a big piece of it too is realizing, like, just as individual humans, there's purpose in every phase of life. And instead of getting to retirement age and thinking, "Oh, my purpose is over,"
Mm.
helping congregations realize, okay, you've been here for 150 years,
Mhm.
you're 150 years old, you still have purpose.
Mhm.
And every member of this church who is living and breathing still has a purpose
Mhm.
and can feed into and be a part of this ministry. And so, too often, especially in such a rural context where resources can be scarce, as they very frequently are here in Eastern North Carolina, um, churches end up in survival mode. And it's scarcity mindset. We hold on to our funds and our resources so that we can keep the doors open. And we may have money in the bank, but there's nobody ever new coming to the church. There's nobody new coming to the faith. And we see that churches are dwindling. Um, and you can have a small church that is doing great, great, great work,
Yes.
and a church of 25 who are thriving, and you can have a church of 250 who are just barely surviving. And so it's really helping come alongside churches to define where are you, who are you, and where are you going. I give zero answers to churches.
No, 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 no. You can't do that. They need you to give them
No,
answers.
no.
Why don't you give them
The only
answers?
well, the only answers I give, I guess, would be the demographics,
Mm-hmm.
because that is hard, concrete evidence. I ask questions. I don't give answers. I ask questions to help them come to the realization that they already know, through coaching
Well, I
practices.
was going to say, that sounds a lot like coaching to
Yeah,
me.
as we mentioned, we are certified coaches.
Yeah,
Shout out Coach Approach Ministries,
absolutely. Eddie
Eddie
Hammett.
Hammett, Scott Wagner.
Yeah, yeah.
And so through those processes, simply just asking questions that help the cohorts and the churches come to realizations that they already have within them, and not coming in as an outsider. Because us good old rural country folk, we don't like outsiders. And so, especially if I come in saying I know everything, that's going to push everybody away. But if I come in and just say, "Hey, I'm here to walk alongside you and help you come to this," you get received much better.
That makes me think a lot about your logo. So why don't we talk a little bit about your logo?
Yeah.
You have a beautiful staff with Kit can put it up on the screen, I'm most certain.
Okay.
So you've got this lovely staff, and the staff is into the ground, and you actually see the roots in the ground, right?
Mhm.
And coming out of those roots and up and around the staff is kind of a planty looking vine,
Mhm.
viney thing, along with the normal circle that we have around all of our stuff. So talk a little bit about how that logo came into being.
So the Sprouting Roots project is based out of the Exodus 4 narrative of, well, Exodus 3 and 4, but when God calls Moses to go back to the Hebrew people.
Mm.
So we know Moses was a Hebrew, raised an Egyptian, flees, and God calls him back one day and says, "Hey, you're going to go free my people." And he's like, "What? Who? Me?" And in this moment, God uses someone who is of the Hebrew community, who is Hebrew himself,
Mm-hmm.
and raises him up in order to free the other Hebrew people, the
Right.
enslaved Hebrew people in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see in this moment that God uses those who are already a part of that community in order to raise up. And so the hope and the goal in this is to go into a congregation and to help raise leaders that are there,
Well, what
because
if they say they don't have anything?
that they don't have any leaders.
They don't have any resources. They don't have any supplies. That just I'm thinking about one of the
Yeah.
images on your where does that idea come from?
So the best thing is in the beginning of Exodus 4, God looks at Moses because Moses is making some excuses, and God says, "Hey, Moses, Moses," I said that.
Moses.
"Hey, Moses,
Moses.
what's in your hand?" And he goes, "A staff." And so that's why the staff is here in the center of the logo, because then God tells Moses to throw that staff on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes a snake, pick it up by its head, becomes a staff again. And we see God begin to do work through that staff. That is the image that we see all throughout the when Moses ends up coming back to Egypt and
Mm-hmm.
having conversations with Pharaoh, when he's parting the Red Sea and all these
Mm-hmm.
things, the staff is always there,
Mm-hmm.
but it literally is just a piece of wood.
And
And
it's what he had in his hand at the time. He was
yes,
already equipped.
yep. So every congregation has something. You have a building, you have a facility,
Mm-hmm.
you have people, whether young, old, many or few.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has something in their hand. So the logo has the staff at the center, and that staff is planted in the ground because we focus on leaders who are rooted in the community already. And what does because this is the Thriving Congregations Initiative,
Mm-hmm.
what does a thriving root system do? Grows.
Grows.
It sprouts.
Grows things. Sprouts.
So we have the
Ooh,
root system.
sprouting roots. I
Yeah.
see what you did there.
Wow.
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 Mind blown.
So we have the root system below, the staff, and the vine growing around the staff. And I also think it brings me back to the imagery in John 15 as well of, I am the vine, you are the branches, remain in me and I in you.
Yeah.
And so we see this, like, when we remain and when we see what God has given us and we continue to remain with God,
Yeah.
what needs to happen will come to fruition. We are not the multiplier, He is.
Sure.
And so we simply just have to release what's in our hand.
Yeah.
So that's
That's your logo.
that's my logo. That's the aim of the project, is really just to help churches see what is in your hand and how you can move forward with what you have. Um, and so, yeah, that's the work of the Sprouting Roots Project. In simple terms, church consulting.
Church consulting. I love it. I love it. So I'll talk
So,
a
yeah,
little bit about my logo as well.
what about the Written with
The
Love
Written with Love
project?
Project logo.
Tell me more.
So this logo was created by myself and my youngest kid. When I got hired here, they were online school, so they actually came over and hung out with me quite a bit when I first got here. And so in the process thereof, we came up with this idea, and part of it is that storytelling piece, or is it a Bible, or is it a journal? So we've got a book that's just kind of open to the middle. And in that book, coming out from the middle of that book, is a lovely little heart. Shout out to Grayson and
Grayson Morgan.
in our marketing department here at UMO Communications and Marketing. He's a fantastic fella. Helped me get that into the right shape of a heart that we needed. And then there's a quill pen. And that quill pen, for me, and it's really up for interpretation based on how you want to tell that story. But for me, what I was seeing is this open, not yet completed book that is being written with love. And so,
Wow, I see what you
know,
did.
that was
Whoa,
amazing.
look at that.
How did I come up with that? So that's really where that comes from. And the book can be, you can ask the question, is that the Bible? Is that a journal? It is whatever you need it to be in the time in which you need it to be. And it really looks different based on whomever is participating with our program at the time.
Yeah.
So that's short, sweet, and to the point. But then we also have this other logo that we exist in, which is the Unified Pathway Projects logo. UPP, you know me. And we thought, when I proposed it, I was like, we need something to kind of be an umbrella unifier, no matter what Lilly Endowment grant we might be working on here at the University of Mount Olive. It leaves an umbrella so that where we have had the Mantle Bearers project that's working and it's sunsetting, we could have 1, 2, 3 grants from Lilly that are religiously Christian based, because that's what their goal is when it's outside the state of Indiana. That we have multiple pathways in our lives. In this case, we have 3 paths, which is the 3 grants that we have been working with. But it all goes to that central path, and then it lands at a beautiful tree.
The tree. Oh.
It's
like the tree of life.
The tree of life. Yeah. That's kind of why our room is decorated the way. We got lots of reasons why the room is decorated why it is, and we'll talk about that as we go along.
I just love Highland cues.
We love cues. I like the Hoof GP as well, in case you've never seen that on YouTube. The Hoof GP. He's fantastic. He's a hoof trimmer over in Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
He's fantastic. Anyway, random thoughts with Shannon Marie. So it takes you to this, all of that takes you to the tree of life, because in our situation, you are OFWB, I am United Methodist. We don't just work with United Methodist or OFWB congregations. So God shows up, and that tree of life is in the center of absolutely everything that we do. And that is ultimately all of our own, that's our goal. It doesn't matter which God, as God presents God's self to this world, is our ultimate goal, to that connectivity to God. So that's kind of why we went with tree and paths. Took us a little while to figure out exactly how we wanted that to look, but that's how we got to our logos.
Yeah.
Lovely. This next segment is called Shannon Marie's. So this sound is actually the sound of the broken actuator on my minivan Roberta's door on the driver's side, the sliding door. And so the motor makes every time we go. So similar to your 15, this is my kind of moment to kind of hit wherever I want to hit something at that day, whatever's on my mind. This morning on my mind is the plant poinsettias.
AKA
Poinsettias. So I have the world's strangest allergy. It is linked to latex allergies too, in case you didn't know that. But I am highly, deathly, EpiPen allergic to poinsettias. And as you have now experienced a couple of times, if I don't realize they are in a place in space, I will realize they're in a place in space. I know they're beautiful. I appreciate that they grow in warm climates such as Mexico, where they originate. And I'm glad that they can be there for those people. But when I land in an airport and they are there and I do not realize, or I'm at a restaurant and because it's the middle end of January and I walk into the restaurant and they are still there and I didn't even think to look.
Not just that they're there, they were rooted in
They were rooted in the
planners.
planner,
Yeah,
which means I can't go back to that restaurant ever again
possibly.
if they stay rooted in their planters. I mean, they looked gorgeous. They were very pretty, but at that moment in time, that required me to take several doses of Benadryl, pull out the old EpiPen in case things went completely cattywampus, and to continue going on. So, friends, we are in eastern North Carolina. It is not where poinsettias are meant to grow. Therefore, let's not grow them. And for churches, yes, I am a clergy. And I understand that they're beautiful at Christmas, but they haven't always been in our buildings at Christmas. Believe it or not always. I can tell you a million ways to decorate your church without a poinsettia.
Use fake ones. Then you don't kill them.
Oh, that's amazing. Or what if we went from that to beautiful candlelight? You know, we've got the
Burn it down.
No, use the battery operated candles, but
Those
they're
ones
really
that you
pretty.
twist, and they come on for 8 hours and then they're off for
Well, no, we
16.
had when I was at my last church, we had remote controls that caught all of them, and we had all kinds of pillar candles of different heights, and they were all over. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful.
I used to have the ones in the our old chapel where you put batteries, you twisted the top, and it would be on for 8 hours, off for 16. And the creepiest place in the world is a church at night.
Oh, sure.
And I watched one night as the candles went in successive order down the chapel.
Turning off.
And around, no, turning on.
Oh, turning on at the
Yeah.
time. Oh,
Yeah, at
because of the way
time.
they were twisted to turn. Oh, that's so fun. Can
but
you
yeah.
imagine if you didn't know they were there and you thought they was like ghosts or something?
Shout out Holy Spirit. But yeah, poinsettias. I never thought I'd had to be on the lookout for those. And now if I go into a space and I see them everywhere, I freak out. I don't even have the allergy, but I freak out on behalf of Shannon Marie because I'm like, got to get her out of here. And she's not even with us.
I'm not there.
Nope.
Well, but I thank you so much for your concern. I appreciate
So
it.
yeah, that was fun in the DC airport.
Yeah.
When we thought we were going to have to cancel our trip and rush her to the hospital. But thankfully we found a hallway that had fresh air flowing.
Yep, fresh air flowing. So we appreciate that. All right. What else? Is there anything else that we want to cover in this pilot episode?
Well, and I think also with this logo too is even though we have two grants, but we are coming under in unity.
In unity, absolutely.
With the ultimate goal of serving the church, serving Christ,
Right.
And coming together to do that well, because the work that we do, we don't do individually. We make sure that we do it together. We have done so much work together, even though they're two separate projects. We've done so much work together that we could essentially do one another's jobs.
Well, but the other side is here. We haven't talked about this. Is even here at the University of Mount Olive, we also teach.
Yes,
because we've also got classrooms that we And you and I almost wonder sometimes if we shouldn't just go, hey, can we just team teach this? Because that's what we do. You
Yeah.
and I have gone from our icy facade that started at the beginning to really in a place and space where I am best doing this work when you are with me. And when we go into our classroom for the first day of class, we go in together because our students may see one, the other, or both, depending on the topic, the day, the whatever,
Yeah.
because we can fill in for each other. We substitute for one
Yeah.
another.
They get substitute teachers, and that's usually
And it's not those
the
substitute
other of
teachers
us.
from high school that really had no idea about the material you're talking about.
No.
And
We
then
help
we could
one another
always
write our classes.
That's right. That's right. And we actually share the thought processes, the struggles of what we're doing in being teachers and our students as well, because sometimes in the world, a male student may feel that a male person is the best person for them to speak to. And I've got a plethora of male students in my class this semester, the most I've ever had. But the female students may also feel that they want to speak to a female individual. And so when we show up together and when we show up in other people's classes, because we've had like Dr. Shields invite us to his psychology class,
Dr. Cox.
Dr. Cox, absolutely, so that the students can get to know who we are on this campus as a support system as well. So, Gavin, let's take a few minutes to talk about how we actually got here. Like, where did we come from to land into this place and space?
Yeah.
And why on earth it was us that were chosen to be these project directors?
Yeah. So I finished seminary in 2019 with my MDiv and moved back home here to North Carolina in 2020 during the height of COVID and took a job at the Free Will Baptist Children's Home. Shout out to the ministry there, go support.
Yeah.
And I was the director of church ministry, so essentially the campus pastor. And I served in that position for just shy of like a month shy of 4 years. But in the midst of that, I got the opportunity to participate in our Thriving in Ministry initiative, the Mantle Bearers Project, and started getting to know folks, started being a part of things and seeing the world of Lilly Endowment grants. And then through an unfortunate circumstance of grief in 2023, just to go ahead and share it, my wife and I went through the loss of our first two pregnancies in miscarriage, and I lost my ability to care. I lost my ability to do pastoral care well and to walk alongside those youth at the children's home and serve there as I needed to. And I came to the realization that it was time to move on to something else. I loved the work that I was doing, but I knew that I had to step out of that. And at that time, as I started finally internalizing, it's time for me to start searching for new ministry, this position came open. And the university received this grant. And in the reception of the grant, I applied for the job. Honestly, didn't really anticipate that I would get it. And then found out in April that I was being hired. Took a month sabbatical, which was fantastic. And in that, I began full time here in June.
Yep.
June of 2024. I started
That's
part time
right.
in April.
That's right.
But June of 2024, I began full time here at UMO. I've been teaching adjunct here since 2021. And so had the opportunity to do that. And one of my passions is serving churches and realizing that the change that needs to come will come in the individual bodies. And so wanting to be a part of that and wanting to be able to help our churches, not just in our convention, but across Eastern North Carolina, be able to live into who God is calling them to be. And so when I saw that that's what this grant was doing, I was like, yeah, I'm going to apply for it. Applied, interviewed, and was offered the job and accepted it before they gave me any terms and conditions.
Well, thank you for accepting it. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. So
And then you texted me the next, like that night.
I did, because I knew. I was informed. I was excited. I really was excited at that point.
We had
So
become friends by then.
yes, I had thawed. I became spicy. So anyone familiar with the
United Methodist
United Methodist Church
organization.
as a student, AI told us once. So anybody familiar with the United Methodist Church knows that in about 2023, 2022 was December 31st, 2022 was the cutoff for people to apply for disaffiliation. And that's when the beginning of the Global Methodist Church started. But it also meant that those of us that were under appointment, because we are told what church we're going to serve because we serve under a bishop. In 2023, I did not have membership in the North Carolina Annual Conference. My membership was in the Holston Annual Conference. And when I moved here in 2018, because I am slightly older than Gavin, he keeps throwing out all these dates of how long he's been doing things, and I have not. So in 2018,
What year did you graduate?
I'm not going to talk
College?
about that. Not going to talk about that.
What year?
I graduated college in December of 1998, Gavin.
I was in kindergarten.
Would you shush? And I graduated. So I'm second career. I got my degree in business administration. My goal was to be a hospital administrator, is what I was going to do when I grew up. Not doing that. And then I went to seminary.
You're administering to souls.
That's right. I went to seminary in 2008, and I graduated from seminary in 2012. What were you doing in 2012?
What month?
That I would have graduated in May.
I was finishing my freshman year of college.
I'm so glad you finally grew up.
So we were catching each other.
We were catching each other up.
We were close.
So I was brought into provisional membership in Holston Annual Conference, which is East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, in 2012, and then I was ordained in full connection for the Holston Annual Conference in 2014. My membership belongs to an annual conference, not to a church. So anyway, we had the big divorce. Disaffiliation occurred. And in 2023, when the dust was settling, I received a phone call that the North Carolina conference, to where I had been on loan since 2018, would no longer have a church available for me. At that moment in time, I had a senior in high school who was in high school. A senior and a rising senior to Methodist University, which, if they were like me and their dad, we were both business majors. He's an economics major and I was a human resource major. There's nothing to be seen for seniors in college with degrees like that. But that kid was a music major, composition. As a matter of fact, the kid wrote our theme music for this.
Shout out Jay-Bird.
Absolutely. Thank you, Birdie. And so in all of that, I said to the bishop here, thank you so much. I will figure out the next step in my life. And, or I was given the option to take a church in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which was 8.5 hours away from Birdie. Now, he had music he wrote that he was going to give a concert for. He had vocal concerts. He had guitar because his instrument was guitar. And I could not imagine myself being 8.5 hours away. And I could not imagine myself pulling the youngest kid out of school into a brand new space for 1 year. That was just insane. So Jason and I, with lots of conversation, prayer, all of those things, made the decision that I would step into the skills that I had in my life and would use them. So I became the executive director, or the director of operations for a nonprofit. I did that part-time, along with the part-time finance secretary for a church in Wake Forest. And I ran that for several months and also was offered a quarter-time church at Monk Memorial in Farmville. So I was running a full-time job plus quarter-time job, which is kind of what I do now.
And
And what?
something with the town.
Oh, I moved to the town. So I ran that for about 3 months. And we realized that the insurance that was going to be provided to us was not going to be adequate enough for my husband's needs. And so I needed a full-time job, like a full-time job, not 2 part-times, a full-time job with healthcare benefits. So that's when the finance officer job for the town of Fremont came available. And I left those 2 part-time situations, went into the town of Fremont, was their finance officer for about 6 months. And when I was hired by them, my statement to them was, I will be with you until God provides to me full-time ministry opportunity. Well, I had a phone call, said, hey, do I have something for you? Which was doing this grant work. And I told the town of Fremont that I will be transitioning over to the University of Mount Olive, and I started in March here of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came on board shortly thereafter. And then, I mean, the rest is lots of other stories to tell as we move through. So that's how we physically got here. That's how we got to these jobs now. So
$7.95 to 117 to Highway 55.
we've been all over the roads.
Yeah.
I ride 13 now. I come on 121. I get on 13. I don't know all the road numbers I ride on, but
I remember landmarks.
I live an hour away now from the university, but I only live like 5 miles from the church that I serve, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And they've become one of our partners. The town of Farmville has become one of our partners in this work. So we have come to this segment called Will It Mustard? Will It Mustard is not anything that just kind of falls into the scope of the work that we do. It just speaks to the friendship that Gavin and I have. Gavin and I have met a lot of interesting people along the way. And in that, mustard, for some reason, just kept becoming a recurring theme. And throughout our time, it turns into funny moments for us. And I have tried mustard on a lot of things. Now, I did not bring anything to try the mustard on today. So we're just going to start at the very beginning. And the question that we're going to ask today is, will mustard mustard?
And shout out to our friend and now colleague, former intern, Katelyn Gregory.
She's not Gregory
Caitlin
anymore.
Howard. That's
yeah,
right.
She got married.
That's right. She has fed into our
mustard obsession.
Yeah, our mustard obsession and giving us new ideas and new mustards to try. So this is a special shout out to you, Katelyn.
Yeah. So this is
Dallas.
This is brand name, not a sponsor, mustard.
Yes.
You know what I don't love? I don't love how sometimes it gets, that's not goopy. Look at that. Somebody has well cleaned their mustard. So because we don't have anything to try our mustard on and we don't have a fancy mustard today, the beginning question for us is, will mustard mustard?
My guess is going to be yes.
That mustard can mustard?
Yes.
Okay.
Faith as small as a mustard seed. That's how this fits into our work.
That is exactly how you get that in there. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Sorry you had to hear that noise.
You made it. I won't make it. I didn't make it.
Our kitty cat trash can.
Okay, so will mustard? I don't know. Will coffee mustard? We might be asking, will coffee mustard?
It's a weird chaser.
Oh, my coffee is actually a bitter one, and so it chased it very well. That was interesting.
Same, but it's just, I think it's a texture consistency.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, but that mustard is lingering, honey. You know what I love about mustard?
Do you have to let it linger?
Okay, don't do too much of that because then we'll get banned from the YouTubes. They won't love it.
Oh, that's right. Cut that out, please.
No, you don't have to cut that out, but we just can't do it for too long. Anyway, I think the beauty of mustard is mustard tastes yellow.
Or does yellow taste like mustard?
Mm-mm. Mustard tastes yellow. And mustard tastes kind of true yellow with a touch of dark yellow.
I'll have to ponder that because I've
Okay.
never thought about that, and that's a lot for me to process.
Okay. So there is mustard. Will mustard?
Yes.
All right.
Now we may try other mustards with other mustards and see if
They
like
mustard
a
together.
Dijon and French's go to. I don't know.
And I did buy some mustards the other day from Brit Fix. Shout out to Brit Fix.
Yeah,
in
shout out Brit
Goldsboro.
Fix in Goldsboro. Go
We
get all
love
your
you
Brit
all.
Fixes.
Not
Shout out
a
Dr.
sponsor.
David Shields for putting us onto that.
Can be a sponsor to this though. He's a great dude. So our mustard segments will consist of lots of mustards and lots of things to try on. Maybe even blueberry cobbler sometime.
I may skip that one.
It's really good, actually. So what now?
Love Peace Chicken Grease.
Yeah, come back and see us next time for another edition of You Know Me.
Thank you.